Hey crafty friends, Christina here with you from Close to My Heart. I'm going to go ahead and share with you the December mystery project. Each month when you make a purchase with me, I send you a little kit making a project, and you don't know what it's going to be. That's the mystery in it. So for the month of December, it's going to be this fun Valentine's Day tag. So you can use it just as a tag, just as it is. You can add it to a card, you could add it to a scrapbook page. I wanted to kind of feature some of the special Now and Forever stamps here and the papers with these hearts. And then I love this die, this heart doily that you can get as part of it. So that's why we're doing that with Valentine's Day coming up as well. So your kit will include all the pieces that you need. And let's just go ahead and get started. So I do think that the papers in the Now and Forever collection do kind of have a classic feel to them, but they also have a little bit of vintage feel. So I found myself doing a lot of sponging when I'm working with these papers and these stamps. And the perfect ink, I think, to do that is the Toffee ink. And so I went ahead and I've already done sponged around the tag, and I did the heart paper here as well as the stamp piece. And so now I'm going to go ahead and do the doily just so it's all tied together. And I have cut the sponges come as a circle, a full round circle. And if you go ahead and just cut it into quarters, that's what I've done here, you can get more use out of it, because then you can use it with 4 different colors. So if you've never done that before, it's a very economical way to get more out of your craft supplies. Or you can just keep it as a whole piece if you prefer, and wash out your sponge when you're going in between different colors. Okay, so now I've gone ahead and sponged that. So I did want to show you how I did this with the stamping. Even though it's already done on your project, I did want you to know, so if you've never done it before, you can also do it. So I'm going to go ahead and leave my desert sand, sorry, toffee, I keep doing that, that's our old brown color. Our toffee and our scarlet are the 2 colors I'm going to be working with. So I am taking our this stamp here, the Me Heart You, and I'm going to ink the whole thing up in the toffee. I had to pause there so I didn't say desert sand. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp it just like this. And then I'm going to take, there's a smaller heart, a single heart, not smaller, I guess it's the same size, maybe a slightly larger than this heart here. So then you can go ahead and you can take and ink up that scarlet and just go right on top of it, because you can see right through where you're doing it. And then you get this nice two-toned effect with your sentiment versus just having to do it in one single color. So if you've never thought to like layer and build on to your stamps, hopefully that's given you something that you can try with your own projects going forward. So let me move this out of the way. So speaking of building on your stamping, here I used one of our stamp sets that I use a lot. It's called Perfectly Imperfect Patterns. And it's got this splotch, that this is main one here, and then it's a bunch of these speckles. So I've done like 4 layers of stamping on your heart doily just to kind of give it a worn, vintage aged kind of look to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this directly onto the tag. And because it does go over the edges, you may have noticed I did not put adhesive all the way to the edge, since it is going to go off the sides. You don't want it to be sticky on the edge, unless you're going to put it in a scrapbook page, and then it won't matter, or a card. But if you're going to leave it as it is, you don't want that excess adhesive on there. Okay, so then what I did is I went ahead and I am going to just put glue here along the base of the stamped piece, and I'm going to go right on top of this scarlet heart one. And then you have a piece of our gold shimmer trim, but you'll notice that in my sample, it's a little bit thinner than this one, because this is the width that it comes in. And so I'm going to actually cut it in half. And so here's another trick. If you've never done this before, you can cut it in half, and that makes it a little bit more delicate, which works with projects that you have like smaller space and you don't want to have it be as dramatic of a focal point on your project. So what I'm doing here is I'm just eyeballing it and centering it on my cutting groove here, right over that gutter where the blade is going to go. And then I'm just going to cut it like normal. And then I'm going to pull up a piece, and you can see then it's half as wide. And now I can go ahead and put that across right on this seam here between those 2 papers. And then I'm going to go ahead and dovetail it. So I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to cut in about halfway here between this end and this side here. Go about a half an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch. Then go from the corner up to that first snip. And then go to the other side and Just keep doing that till you kind of get the two parts to meet. And you will find it's a little bit trickier to do with this shimmer trim just because it's a little bit bulkier. So it's not as quick and easy as if you're just doing paper. But then it gives you a more balanced dovetail to your project. So I'm going to do the same thing, kind of go in that center point there, then come from that corner, come from the other corner, and finish that off. There we go. And go ahead and get rid of these. Okay, so then what I did is I wanted it to be raised up so it had a little bit more dimension. So I'm going to take some of our 3D foam dots, and I'm going to put it on the back here. I'm going to go right across the seam there just so that it's another extra guarantee that they stay stuck together, adhered together. And then I'm going to go ahead and find how I like where it's placed so that I have my splotches showing as I want. So you don't have to center it. You could have it a little bit below center, a little bit higher. Could just kind of play with where you like the placement of that. So mine's a little bit below center. And then the final touch then is you have some twine. So you're gonna go ahead and I take my twine and I put it in half. So then I can take the loop part here and go ahead and thread it through that hole. And then the two ends will go through that loop and you pull it. And I give you plenty of twine so you can see it's pretty long, so you can trim it down to the length that you want it to be. And there you have it. Pretty quick and easy, but it had a couple of techniques in it, so hopefully you learned something new. And like I said, it's versatile because you could use it just as a tag, or you can put it on a card or a layout. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and until next time, stay crafty.